the chair of the MDTA Capital Committee and conducting today's meeting. Today is Thursday, March the 5th, 2026, and I hereby call our meeting to order at 9 a.m. In accordance with the live streaming law, this meeting is conducted via video conference and live streamed on the MDTA Capital Committee page. As a reminder, all members of the Capital Committee will have their video active during the entirety of the meeting. However, to minimize background noise, we do ask that everyone keep your devices muted. And if you're presenting or answering a question, please have both your video and audio on when speaking. And when you're done, please turn your video off and your device back on mute, with the exception of the committee members. Today, there are no members of the public, no elected officials, and no media that have pre-registered to comment. So we can move on to agenda item number 1, which is approval of the open session meeting minutes of February the 5th, 2026. So I will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, Member Cox.
Member Cox out of the gates made the motion. Second.
Second, Member Cordova.
Member Cordova seconds. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that was everybody. All right. Well, Ruel is going to talk to us next about BB 3025-000, which is cleaning and painting of structural steel at the eastbound Bay Bridge.
Before you start, Ruel, I have a quick question, Mr. Chair, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Which software do you use to track the maintenance on the bridges? If you could share that before you start.
All right,
Is that a question for me? Okay, yes.
Yes.
If you got the answer, it's for you.
Yes. Right. So if the question is about inspection data, inspection reports, we do have what we call as Acer. It's a custom software that we use here within MDTA. This is for bridges, tunnels, and some other assets. So that's where we store all of the information. After inspecting each year, we do store that in that database or software. It's called Acer. ASIR is authority. It's an authority custom software.
Thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
No problem.
So Member Sneed, are you asking that question as to what is it that reminds us we need to go do that, and that would be the software that sort of sends off the alarm? Is that your question?
Kind of a combination of where they enter the data. I'm sure they have regular inspections, and it probably sends reminders to when they should come out and what the triggers are for painting or modifications.
Sounds like a good future topic, educational topic for this committee.
I think it would be.
Yeah, give you. They can probably do like a 5-10 minute. We've talked about it, but it's been a while, so it's worth a refresher for us. And for you newer folks, I think it's a great idea. So if we can put that on your list.
Good idea, Member Sneed.
A great idea. Even if you can't get the snow cleared in a certain cul-de-sac.
We're on the record now.
I just. All right. So now you can talk about. Now you can talk about the eastbound Bay Bridge cleaning and painting of the structural steel.
Okay. So the Bay Bridge contract I'm going to present today is BB 3025. This is the cleaning and painting of structural steel at the eastbound Bay Bridge, Phase 1. The scope of this project includes the deck truss that has recently been redecked. This contract was advertised in November 2025, and the bids were opened in January 2026. There were 4 bids that we received, and the lowest bid was submitted by Blastic Incorporated in the amount of about $4.45.9 million. And this is 5.4% below the engineer's estimate of about $48.6 million. There were no bid protests or rejection, and Blastech Enterprises Incorporated, they have extensive work with MDTA, and just recently they're finishing their project at the Hayden Bridge, and we're so happy with their work. The duration for this project is 730 calendar days, and we're expected to NTP this project this month of March 2026. So we are seeking recommended approval from the Capital Committee to present this contract to the full MDTA board in anticipation of approval for contract award. Thank you.
Member Cox.
Thank you very much. I see it's below the estimate. Now, let's go back to the Hayden Bridge a little bit, or any of the others that we've had recently, especially the Hayden Bridge, which is Hartford and Cecil County, obviously. Have you had any problem with this company? Obviously, you've had good success so far, is what you've said, as far as doing damage to properties, vehicles, or anything like that. Have you had any feedback where you've had a problem with their coverings as far as when they're doing the work or work being performed during the working hours?
Yeah, so the Hating project is managed by White Marsh through NAFES, and what I heard is that the Blastech Incorporated is doing a great job, as you know, right now, and I didn't hear any feedback at all, any negative. Oh, NAFES is here. Maybe NAFES can speak about it. Go ahead, NAFES.
Yeah, well, Kelly is the construction manager. She's on there, but the last item on the agenda is a status update on the Hayden project. If you guys want to wait till then, but to answer your question, Member Cox, no, we haven't had any issues that I know of. Kelly, please chime in if I misspoke. They're a very good company. They did a lot of complex projects for us, including the Bay Bridge. Before they did the suspension spans on the Bay Bridge about 10 years ago. They're really very good. Like I said, they do their homework, they cover everything, and they partner very well with us. So I did not hear of any issues at the Hayden Bridge. But like I said, again, the last item that will also answer Member Sneed's question about how we pick bridges for painting and all that. The last item on the agenda deals with that.
Fine, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's some great pictures in that presentation too. So.
Yeah,
right, there are.
Yeah, Kelly and I will be doing that presentation on the Hayden Bridge later on.
Awesome. Thank you for jumping in. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
I'll turn my camera on then, so
Understood.
when it's my turn.
You got time to get ready. Perfect. All right, Ruel, any other questions from the board members or a motion for approval?
I'll motion to approve. Member Cordova.
Member Cordova approves or motions.
Second.
Second by Member Sneed. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Okay, that was all of us. Fantastic, Ruel. You can take the rest of the day off.
Thank you so much.
Okay, now we're going to the next item, which is Carl Chamberlain for MDTA 2024-04, which is the SBR Comprehensive Project Planning and Miscellaneous Consulting Services. Carl, you are up.
Thank you. Good morning, members of the Capital Committee. My name is Carl Chamberlain.
Carl.
I am with MDTA's Office of Engineering and Construction, Division of Planning and Program Development. Yes, it's a mouthful. I will be presenting procurement number MDTA 2024-05, which is the SBR Comprehensive Project Planning and Miscellaneous Consulting Services contract. This procurement is for Small Business Reserve SBR Architectural Engineering Services, abbreviated as A&E services. So the services that will be provided in this contract will be under the supervision of MDTA staff. This procurement will result in a single award contract with a value of $3.5 million. The contract duration will be 5 years. This contract has a minority business enterprise goal of 13%, veteran-owned small business enterprise goal of 1%, and there was no required sub-goals under the MBE program for this contract. In summary, the services sought broadly cover the domains of project planning, engineering, project management, public involvement, permitting, NEPA, travel demand modeling, third-party coordination, on-site staffing, etc. The selected proposer will be assigned work on a task order basis. For this procurement, the CTP request was sent on February 15, 2024 to the Secretary's office, and then that request was approved by TSO on April 1st, 2024, and then reapproved by TSO on February 6, 2025. This RFP was advertised on February 18, 2025, and the proposals were due on April 16th. Procurement used a single-step qualification-based selection process. In all, there were 4 proposers. The first one was the Wilson T. Ballard Company, second, Blackwater Environmental Group, third, Vision Solutions LLC, and fourth, Big Technologies Incorporated. The technical proposals were evaluated on the basis of the firm's services on similar projects, qualifications of the key firms, or the firm's key personnel, their org chart, work plan, etc. In addition, there was a sample assignment to assess the firm's knowledge and skills and teamwork and responsiveness on specific tasks. Wilson T. Ballard was ranked highest among the 4. There were no protests, and we are recommending award to Wilson T. Ballard. If approved, the contract number would be AE 3131. And with that, I'm happy to take questions.
I'm going to start. First, the agenda, I don't know if this matters, but the agenda item had the wrong, up in the agenda had the wrong number, had 04 versus 05, but you corrected that when you said it. Just for the record, want to make sure we had that clear. The other folks who didn't make the cut, did we at least tell them why so that they do better for the future? And I say that because I've had the experience of losing and never being told why, and that's very frustrating when you're trying to get better.
Yeah, so yeah, we offer debriefs to all companies that aren't selected. In this case, not sure. We basically give them the option. So I'd have to check with procurement to see if all the companies took us up on that. That might not have been the case, but yes, but we do offer that, and my experience is they usually do take us up on that awesome. Opportunity.
Great.
And in addition, and this isn't the question you asked, but one other thing that we do allow, before procurement starts, if a company wants to come in and review the previous round of proposals that came in with the procurement department, they're allowed to do that to see, who were the previous teams that proposed and what did those proposals look like. So there are other opportunities for companies to get additional information and provide stronger proposals in the future, which is something that we like as well. Of course, we're looking for the strongest groups, the strongest proposals possible, because that's, again, good for the authority.
Awesome. And I know I've seen Wilson T. Ballard before on these previous contracts. So their performance, I assume their past performance probably weighed into the decision as well.
So they are so they're the incumbent on this contract as well. So we currently have an SBR contract within our group. They were the incumbent that held it before. They performed really well. And yeah, we've had a lot of success with Wilson T. Ballard in the past. They also generally are on the teams so we have 3 regular contracts as well in the department, that goes along with this one SBR, and they are usually on one of the teams for the bigger contracts as well. So yeah, we do a lot of work with them.
Awesome. Any other questions from the committee? Or a motion for approval?
I'll make a motion.
All right, member Cox, motion's in favor.
I'll second.
Is there
Member Cordova.
second, member Cordova? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that is everybody. Thank you, Carl.
Thank you.
And now we can get to Member Cox's awesome questions related to the Hayden Bridge. Like I said, really cool pictures here. So of some befores and afters. So looking forward to the discussion. So.
And I thank you for that.
And,
I mean,
yep.
I mean, I'm a little early on the questions, but
that's all right.
Fantastic.
That's all right. Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, members. Again, like member Jimmy said, this is, well, I'm going to start by giving an overview of our bridge painting program. how do we select bridges to be painted, and then I'll turn it over to Kelly Harbour, who's the Deputy Director of Construction, to go over the specifics of the Hayden Bridge cleaning and painting project. So again, I'll go ahead and get started. Part of our biennial inspections is that the inspectors, they do a general inspection of the coding system, and they give it a rating. Okay, they rate that, and then we look at it and we decide whether a bridge is a good candidate to do a cleaning and painting project on that bridge. And if the bridge is deemed to be a candidate for that, then we do an in-depth investigation on what system to use, what kind of type of containment system to be used, and we start the process. The process is we do a follow-up evaluation, okay? And here, this slide here, the slide number 3, shows the testing protocol that we do before we start the design. We do field testing. We do corrosion testing. We look at the corrosion. Is it isolated? Is it all over? Is it scattered all over the place? And then we do an adhesion test to determine the failure between the several coats on the existing bridge, or the substrate between the steel and the paint system. Is there any adhesion, or is it all gone? We look at the chalking, which is that white film that develops on the paint system, see if that's present too. That's a sign of failure as well. The brittleness of the coating, see if the coating is like peeling off, and how does it break easily when we touch it or whatever. The film thickness, okay, how we do destructive and non-destructive testing to determine the film thickness. How thick is the coating system? How much is remaining of that on the existing bridge? We also we identify the existing coatings. That determines whether we can do an overcoat or total replacement or what have you. We do heavy metals testing for lead, for cadmium, for chromium, and we also look at the surrounding environment. Is the bridge over water? Is it over a railroad? Is there a lot of utilities? Is it over an environmentally sensitive area? All that determines how we go about painting the bridge, because that determines how the contractor is going to access the bridge. How is it going to be accessed from underneath, from up top? Do we need maintenance of traffic? We don't. All that, we do that during the evaluation process. Also, we do, based on that, we select what type of coating or what paint system to use on that bridge. After that, once we identify all those elements, we move into the design phase. The design phase, we decide what type of containment to be used. That depends on, again, on whether we're going to do full blast, whether we're going to do an overcoat, what is underneath the bridge, and all that. That determines the type of containment used. The surface preparation, the coatings application. We decide whether a stripe coat is needed or not. The primer and the intermediate coats, what is appropriate for that situation. We'd have to decide that. And we have to document unique situations, hard to reach, such as hard to reach inaccessible places. Is there a railroad? Is there utilities on the bridge that are going to be in the way? We do that beforehand, and we determine what to do with regard to all that. How will the contractor address these areas if they're there? We have to determine that before we put out the contract for awards. And also we have to define quality control, quality assurance procedure for him to follow. And most of our jobs, all of our jobs, I would say, we also require a 2-year warranty on that. Next is the type of system that we use. Mainly, like I said, on all of our existing bridges, I would say 90% of the time, we use a 3-coat system, which is the zinc primer, epoxy intermediate, urethane top coat. That's if we do total removal, that is, which is not, like I said, 90% of the time, that's what we do on our existing bridges. There are 2-coat systems, but we hardly use those. That consists of zinc-rich primer and polysiloxane or polysporadic top coat. There are also moisture-cured urethanes that we use. I remember one time we working on the Bay Bridge, and we specified a 3-coat system, but there was like a lot of humidity and a lot of moisture. So the contractor asked us if he could use one moisture cured urethane instead of the epoxy intermediate coat, and we let him do that because he can, wait and all that for the weather to change, and of course that works perfectly. The next slide. This chart here shows the different systems, paint systems that are approved by Maryland State Highway Administration, and these are the ones that we use also. They are in the standard specifications for construction and materials, that book that State Highway puts, and we follow that. Like I said, most of the time, okay, we use system C, which is the 3-coat system. System C, which is the third one on the list. That's what we use most of the time. Okay, about 90% of the time, that's, like I said, is what we use. But again, these systems has been tested and approved by State Highway in collaboration with industry experts and manufacturers and all that. When it comes to paint, and this picture here shows like just a containment of a deck truss span, similar to what's going on that right there at the Hayden. When it comes to painting, okay, 65 to 70% of the cost is for the containment system, and surface preparation. That's about 70%, because on a complex bridge like that is a major operation, takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. Material and the 3-coat system itself, the paint itself, costs about 30 to 35% of the cost. That concludes my presentation. So before I turn it over to Kelly, anybody has any questions, or wait until Kelly's done with her presentation? Go ahead.
I have one question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hafiz, do you use or employ contractors or employees that use water-based or air-based drones to inspect it all, or do you find that it's better that they be in person actually on the bridge when they perform inspections?
Ruel is still on. Again, I do believe they use drones to do inspections these days, but the paint contractor on the Hayden Bridge, I don't believe he did that, because everything was already established for them. There's no need for them to do that, because we identify the areas and all that. But I believe for inspections on Ruel, correct me if I'm wrong, they do use drones nowadays.
That's correct. That's correct.
Hard to reach areas, yes.
Hard to reach. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Looks like Member Cox has a question.
Let me ask you a question. I mean, maybe with Kelly down the road, but how often do you inspect after, what's the guarantee? Give me the guarantee again.
2-year warranty.
Okay. After the warranty period, how often is the bridge inspected for the work had been completed, even though maybe there's been corrections made, or, as far as what has already been applied, and then you have a problem before the warranty's up and it's corrected? How often after that are the inspections made on these type projects, whether it's here, Bay Bridge, or wherever?
We do, again, like I said, when the 2-year warranty come up, before it expires, I send the team to go do the inspection.
Right.
Okay, and they identify, they go do through the whole project, through the whole area, and if there are any deficiencies, we'll get back to the contractor and they come back and correct those. After that, then, like I said, the biennial inspections and the annual, as you know, we do like an annual visual inspections and biennial hands-on inspections. Part of that process is they look at the coding system, the inspectors. They look at the coding system and they assess that, and they put the data in Acer, that software that Ruel alluded to, and we look at that. And then again, I think it's like it's an element inspection. This determine how much of the area is condition state 1, which is good, condition state 2 fair, condition state 3, which is bad, and so on. And based on that, we decide whether, or determine whether we need to do a follow-up inspection or not. But to answer your question, it is part of the annual inspections, whether it's visual or hands-on, is the assessment of the coding system.
Okay, thank you. Now, the follow-up, as far as, and I think you answered it a little bit, as far as any claims or anything against the contractor against us as far as damage during the application?
Yes, I actually have a spreadsheet that tracks all the painting contracts. And when the warranty inspection comes up is due, I call my team and they go out and do the inspection. Yes.
No, I think his question was,
No.
when
I'm
when
asking-
activities going on, is there any, are cars getting damaged or boats?
Oh, yeah,
underneath
yes,
getting
yes,
damaged?
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Kelly's inspectors are on site every day. They're with the contractors, and if an incident like that arises, they'll get back to, yes, the contractor, and will get back to us. But like I said,
That's my follow-up. Okay,
yeah,
thanks.
I don't believe, I
Mr.
haven't
Chairman.
heard of any situations like that during this contract.
I know, the only reason I'm raising this question, when I've been on the Kent Railroad Board, we had a problem when the painting went on over, I don't know if you were on board at that point, where we had a problem with the cars that were underneath
Oh, yeah,
off of Dunkirk Street. I mean, if you recall that the problems we had at that point, this is several years ago,
yes, I remember
maybe
that,
5,
yes.
6 years ago.
Yeah,
Okay, that's
actually,
why I'm giving the follow-up. That's,
and before we
that was my
started
memory.
that, CSX parking lot under there used to get, a lot cars used to get, yes, slurry from the bridge deck.
Yes.
Used to pour down, yes, yeah. No,
Okay.
most of this project is access from underneath.
Right.
So that's, yeah, only the through trusses are the only ones that are accessed from up top. So that's why, there hasn't been any incidents. And like we said, Plastic is really a good contractor. Their safety record is stellar, and they do a great job. I'm glad
Okay.
that they got the Bay Bridge actually, but for that reason.
Okay,
Member
thank you.
Cox asked because his stagecoach was once crushed by a
Ah,
log from an old bridge.
oh, yeah. I actually know, I do
had to
remember
trade
that.
my truck in for member Gan Jemmings, that's all.
I saw you laugh, member Cordova. I saw you laugh. Does that mean I can bring my jokes back?
All right, guys, ready for Kelly? Kelly?
We are.
Over to you.
We are. Talk about the bridge itself.
You're on mute, Kelly.
Let's try this again. Good morning, everyone. My name is Kelly
Morning, Kelly.
Harper. Good morning. I'm
Good
Deputy
morning,
Director for,
Kelly.
good morning. I'm Deputy Director for Construction here in OEC, and I'm going to give the update on HB 3001. So we are located at the Susquehanna River, subtended by both the Cecil County and Harford County sides. We had a timeline of about 700 days to clean, repair, and to paint the Hayden Bridge. With Hayden being built in 1940, and then the paint system remediated in the 80s, and then some recent work done about 10 years ago, in conjunction with the inspection results and the results from their annual inspections, our goals for this project were to preserve the structural integrity, ensure the safety, extend the life of our infrastructure, and enhance aesthetics. The paint process. The Fez hit on this a little earlier when he talked about the 3-coat paint process. Part of that process is to abrasive blast and prime, perform the prescribed repair, and then do the stripe coat of the primer, the intermediate coat, and apply the top coat. So there's on slide 10 at the top left, you'll see what looks like a sepia color. That's exactly what looks like inside of the containment when it's been blasted and primed. And it's a tinted primer, so it kind of gives like a brown look to it before we put the intermediate coats on. And the photo to the right is what that area looks like after it's gotten the intermediate and top coats. The photo right below where you see the bolt heads, that area is what looks like the stripe prime. So that's the primer that gets applied, and the stripe coat is for hard to reach areas around bolts, to make sure that the paint is in contact with those areas before we move on to other coats. And then you see right beside it, that's the finished area of that one section. And then below it, you see, go ahead.
It looks new. It looks new. It looks fantastic.
It is a pretty bridge.
I mean, it really is. I mean, these pictures are fantastic. Great work in putting this together.
Thank you, thank you. But yes, it's a gorgeous bridge. And in the bottom, you see the top coat that's applied there. So access, the next two slides talk about access and how the crews access both from land and water. And this two shots, which is, I love this photo at the bottom, like the leaves are changing. But they were actually putting in the platforms that they were going to use for access. And so this is how they accessed from the land. The second photo is water access. Blast Tech actually had two barges out. Their barge, there's a smaller barge that they used when they were in shallower water and just putting up more of the containment areas. And that's that small top right photo you see there. But then they've also brought out the larger barge, which housed all the vacuum equipment. You can kind of see the tubes coming from the containment. That's where they abrasive blast, and then they suck down that whole area. So everything is going into a unit and it's disposed of carefully. And then you also see the stair tower, and that's how they're able to access it from the barge. And so they have a contractor's boat that they use to get out to it every day. Then of course they had access from the deck down.
This is probably a dumb question. I'm going to ask it anyway. The dust that they collect, I'm assuming it's not recyclable. So it gets accumulated, and I assume it gets landfilled. Is that what happens?
Actually, it's considered, it has to be tested for hazardous materials. So once it goes into that vacuum, it then gets transferred into drums and it's shipped off. It's shipped off for testing to make sure that there's nothing in it, and it's not recycled, it's not reused, it's just disposed of as hazardous material.
So they test for leachate and all that stuff before, and then does it get landfilled? I mean, it doesn't stay in the barrels, I hope, because
no, it does not get landfilled, because there's potential for it to be lead, like Nafez mentioned earlier, lead, chromium, cadmium, all of that can be inside of that.
So it stays drummed.
Yes, it's up. We're not touching that again.
Yeah, it's normally, I can answer. I was involved, remember, again, Jimmy, they have a place, I think in Pennsylvania, where they take it to do whatever is necessary to neutralize it or landfill it or whatever they need to do.
Wow. So we're going to run out of room eventually? Still got plenty of space. And you don't have to answer the question you don't know. After a while, I mean, we own a lot of bridges and we have to repaint them every few years. So that's a lot of accumulation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can find out specifically where this stuff went.
Yes, I think so.
Get back with you.
I'm just curious. I mean, we got to do what we got to do. So
right.
Can I say something? Don't forget now, when we do encounter lead, we remove it. So eventually our paint systems will be de-leaded. So in the future, when we come back to this, there should be no lead on the bridge.
Right.
So that's part of the process. When we encounter lead, we remove it, and like Kelly said, we dispose of it in the proper way and take it to a place that does handle the hazardous material. But this bridge was de-leaded already, but there was traces of lead still on it. So after this, it should be clear.
Yes, thank you,
Of hazardous material, that is, yes.
Yeah. So the next few slides here are samples of the types of steel repairs that were performed on the bridge. Hatem itself had 29 different types of repairs that were prescribed by design. The top photos you see there are a type 8 cantilever cross beam strengthening repair. So what happens, and this happens in a lot of I-beams anyway, they are weakest about their most slender axis. And so what happens, combined with them being in service for so long and then also being under stresses, they do contain some section loss in both the web area as well as the flange sections. And so what you see on the before and after, you'll see a little bit of that loss there, but then engineers will prescribe us to weld or bolt plates to both sides of the web section. And so that makes the beam itself a little bit more beefy. And so it helps it so it can remain in service. The second repair that you see down below is a type 15 hinge repair. It's above the pier in the Vickert spans. This thing is pretty cool. I really enjoyed seeing the photos from this one. The hinge that you see here in place, that actually helps to transfer live loads, dead loads down to the pier, down to the substructure of the bridge. And this is a pretty intense repair. When this hinge is taken out, there's lateral bracing that's done, while they have to take that out and replace it. But it's a very interesting repair. So anything like the live loads that, the truck's going across, the car's going across, the Susquehanna Running Festival, all of those live loads get transferred down through these hinges, through the piers, and down to the substructure of the bridge. It's a pretty cool repair. This third one is a gusset plate replacement. And so that's a type 20 repair. Looks like somebody just took a bite out of the side of it. The after is much better. If you can imagine, there's two of these plates. There's a plate on the bottom of the member. That plate was in pretty good condition, but on the bottom side, it has the same bolt pattern. So if you can imagine, the repair is to remove one bolt and replace it at a time, all the way around. And then once that's done, the top plate is then replaced, and this is what you have here. So that was pretty cool. And gusset plates, they're there to make, connections with the members and to provide stabilization to the bridge. So recent progress. The work is 97% complete. We are at 87% time. We are ahead. That's our photo right there of our last partnering meeting where we took a photo with Blast Tech. They have their subcontractor there. Our scheduling folks are there. Safety guy, our QC folks are there. They've done an amazing job on this project and kind of keeping the pace and kind of getting us finished up on time. So the past summer activities, paint crews, abrasive blast and prime the main truss spans, the east side girder spans, and the simple spans, and they completed the prescribed steel repairs. So at this point, all the repairs on the contract are now complete. We did find two incidentally found repairs, and those are being worked on now. And then the intermediate coat is being applied to span 16, and the finished coat will follow as ambient conditions allow. Right now we need 40 and rising, and the surface has to be greater than 35. So we're just, starting to get those types of temperatures so we'll be able to finish up. And then the crews have also been out there dismantling the platforms and access that they no longer need. And that's the update on Hayden. I'm happy to take any questions.
That was fantastic, by the way. Good work.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Member Cox.
Thanks, Kelly. That was really enlightening. Let's put it that way, to see the before and after. Let me ask you, how, as far as on budget or any major repairs that were encountered that were not anticipated, as far as overages, were any major, was there anything major that was encountered that was not so discovered beforehand?
There were a few that we found just, taking things apart. There were some that you find, but no, nothing went over our budget. We had an allowance on the job for things that, maybe design didn't see or didn't know about. And so we were able to tap that allowance and stay within it. So we're good.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
How was it? What was it? Thank you, Kelly, for the update. What was the total schedule?
The total schedule, 700 days.
700 days, yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
And I think
Takes a while.
we'll probably finish about a week early.
Yay.
The temperatures kind of dragged us down a little.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Great work. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you.
Now you can move on to bigger projects like the Bay Bridge.
Yep. Thank you very much. Remember,
you.
Dan, Jimmy now can go across and safely come over to Harford County.
I go across the dam. No, I'm kidding. Well, that is it for today's meeting. And unless anybody has anything further to add or ask, good discussion. Always love the educational pieces. We can never hear it enough because we don't do it every day. You guys are doing it every day, living it every day, and we're not. So we appreciate you taking the time to educate us, make us a little bit smarter so that we can make better decisions. So thank you very much. With that, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
I'll motion to adjourn, Member Cordova.
Member Cordova motions in favor of that. Members need seconds. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. That was all of us. Everybody have a safe day.
Thank you, everyone.